Culberson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Attorney General, and Mr. Chairman, it's my concern, and I know the concern of my constituents and a lot of my colleagues, is not just the quality of the information that we would obtain with or without Miranda. Our worry is that these people will be released on technicalities, that they will go free because they were given constitutional protections by this administration that foreign nationals in time of war have not been given previously. I'm still trying to run down the two individuals you gave me. Mr. Chairman, I do know for a fact that Richard Reed was arrested at a time when there was no military commission. That's why he was sent to civilian court. Your testimony is, Mr. Attorney General, that the Siddiqui and Dalimi individuals were sent to civilian court at a time there were military commissions in existence?
I'll have to look at the dates. I believe that's correct.
Okay. If we're very, very short on time, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to also ask, if I could, the Attorney General, if the charges against KSM are dismissed because of some legal argument that he raises under the Constitution or Supreme Court case law, his charges are dismissed by the federal court and he's ordered released. I think I've heard you say that the administration would order that he continue to be held. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, first off, in terms of the premise, I don't think there is an instance of a terrorism case where somebody, a terrorist charged in an Article III court, got off on a so-called technicality. I don't know of one case.
No, excuse me. I'm talking about KSM. You've asked that you have ordered that he be sent to be tried in a civilian court.
Well, that's fine.
Regardless of where that takes place.
I certainly deal with that question, but I'm just dealing with what you said at first, and I don't want to let that go unrebutted.
Oh, I'm sorry if you misunderstood me.
That somehow has happened. I mean, again, what I would say is let's look at the facts and let's look at history. There has never been, as far as I know, a terrorism trial that ended in a pretrial release of somebody on the basis of some technicality.
In a military tribunal?
In an Article III court.
Okay, but that's the danger we expose ourselves to, and that's our concern, is that this hasn't been done before, other than those two cases you mentioned, which we're going to run down.
No, we've tried hundreds of cases in Article III courts where I'm sure pretrial motions have been raised. None have resulted in the release of somebody on a technicality.
In time of war is the concern. But if I could, very quickly, because we're running out of time, if the charges against KSM are ordered dismissed by the district court, I've heard you say publicly that the administration would order that he continue to be held. Is that correct?
Well, first, I'll answer that question. But first, I would say that on the basis of the way in which this case would be structured in the Article III court, the chances of his being released on a technicality are slim to non-existent. But having said that,
yes, sir.
I have said, you're correct. I have said that if there were to be, if something, if Haley's comment were to come flying through this hearing room today and something like that happened, it would not be the intention of this administration to release him into the United States.
Well, so if you get a court order ordering that KSM be released and the charges dismissed, you will release him overseas?
That is not what I've said, no.
Well, you said you wouldn't release him in the United States. Where would you release him?
Well, there are a variety of things that can be done. Again, I think we're talking hypotheticals that we will never have to face.
But we have to think about it. And if he's ordered released by the court, where would you release him, if not in the United States?
We have, under the system that we have in place, there have been cases where we have made the determination, or we have, with regard to detainees, we have made the determination that certain of them can be transferred, certain of them can be tried, certain of them can be held on a long-term basis.
Okay.
We have, I think, the facility under the AUMF, the ability under the AUMF, the authorization of use of military force, we have the ability to detain somebody on a long-term basis. So if, and it's not going to happen.
It's an if.
Well,
you got a court order. Charges are dismissed. He shall be released. Where would you release him?
It's an if. It's not going to happen. But if that were to be the case, he would not be released.
You said he would not be released in the United States.
No, I'm not.
And he will not be released, period.
I'm not qualifying it. He would not be released.
Well, then, the nobility of American justice, the example we would set to the world so the terrorists would like us, But you just threw all that out the window.
No, I'm not.
Well, why are we sending him?
I'm dealing with a
Mr. Chairman, am I missing something here, Mr. Wolf?
No, Mr. Culberson.
I really.
Yes.
What am I missing, please?
Mr.
I will yield. I mean, I don't get it. Texans don't understand this. I mean, if you're at war, you hunt them down and you kill them. And I don't know, why are we giving this guy constitutional rights to make the terrorists like us or think that we're noble, and you're going to hold him in jail anyway if he's ordered released?
But you're dealing...
Mr. Chairman, I will yield. What am I missing?
You're dealing with... What you're missing is that what I said, you're dealing with a hypothetical that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It is a distinct possibility. It could happen. And you said you're not going to release him.
On the basis of what? Why would you say that?
Well, this is a public hearing. Our enemies are listening. You've just said that you're going to hold this guy in jail if the court orders him released. And the purpose of the trial is to show the nobility of American justice, and we treat everybody equally, and the terrorists will like us, you know, kumbaya. Well, if the court orders him released and you're going to hold him in jail, you just nullified all that, right?
See, this is the danger.
And I yield, Mr. Chairman, if I'm missing something.
No,
I'm missing something.
This is the danger.
This does not make any sense at all. This is war. You hunt them down, you kill them, or you hold them forever. This is not complicated to a Texan.
Okay, but this is my fault for having gone down the road of a hypothetical, and I should have simply said the hypothetical that you have posed is not a real one on the basis of our experience and the facts that we have over the years under Republican and Democratic administration.
But I hope you can see my concern. You say that if Osama bin Laden is captured, he's entitled to the same, you know, he's going to be treated as a murderer like Charles Manson. We're going to try
That's not quite what I said.
That's what the gist of your testimony is, that
That's
he
not
is...
what I said.
He, as a murderer, is treated as a murderer like Charles Manson. They're not even in the same category. And it's just a real concern, Mr. Chairman, and I think it exposes the immense danger of going down this path, Mr. Attorney General. We are at war. You cannot treat these people. This is not a war on crime. This is a war on terrorists, and you treat them like you would Nazis. If you captured a Nazi on the battlefield, you should treat them no differently than you would treat them no differently than you would a terrorist captured on the battlefield. And that's the danger. You've opened up a can of worms in Pandora's box. We need to stick with what works. We're at war. You hunt them down, you kill them, or you capture them.
I think you're right. We do stick with what works, and we look at history. We look at facts. We don't look at hyperbole. We don't look at campaign slogans. We don't use fear. If that is the case, there is no reason for us to have any concern or fear that our Article III courts, our military efforts, the use of military commissions, our diplomatic efforts will not ultimately be successful in winning this war. But as I said before, if you take from us, that is in essence what you're trying to say.
Not suggesting.
Gentleman's time is expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I give the witness a chance to finish his answering.
I was simply going to say, if you take from us the ability that has been used by Republican and Democratic administrations and attorneys general to use the Article III courts in the successful way that we have, you will weaken our effort in this war that we must win.